Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. How are you? For Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition, we're inviting Graham Ebner from Texas. I've just been following him on Instagram, the power of Instagram, through Lee Miller. And it is amazing that there's more makers. So let's see. Let's see if he is back in his shop or if he's still at home. Here. Oh, Wes is on. Hi. Hi, Wes. Wes is gonna get back at you. Hi, Graham. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you back at Lee's not office, studio,
No, not
workshop?
yet.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
not yet.
How is it in Texas? It got a little worse, I heard. So,
Yeah, I'm in Austin, obviously. So it definitely got a little bit worse. It seems like it's kind of calmed down a little bit, but it's still a lot worse than it was a month ago.
yeah.
So I'm kind of just my wife and I have been hunkered down for the most part and just hanging out at home. Good excuse to work on stuff and get my shop ready and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So tell us about your shop. What does your shop look? It's a home
Well,
shop?
yeah, it's also called a garage. I call it,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I can turn this around. Let's see. So it's just like a
Oh,
one car garage, and it's kind of like
so nice.
it's kind of devoted to like half boot stuff, and then like half motorcycle stuff. Uh,
Nice. How
so
many motorcycles do you have?
I only have one. My wife has one right here. This is one that I'm
Very
working
cool.
on for somebody. This one's mine, and then these belong to my friend Nick. So,
Oh, cool.
but yeah, so this is the shop. We just moved in about 2 months ago, and so I've been working
Uh-huh.
on this stuff. So this is kind of
Uh-huh.
my will be my boot wall over here.
Nice, nice.
So I've got this station right here, which is kind of like ink and dye, and you can see my
Uh-huh. The
cement, rubber
glues.
cement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
The
I've got my
machines.
yeah, I've got
Wow.
Stitcher, which does kind of run. It's waiting in line amongst some
Uh-huh.
projects to get some TLC. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and but it's been I gave it a really good cleaning. I was lucky enough, along with Dana and Charlotte, to be gifted this machine.
Wow.
The family of a friend of Lee's who'd passed away, who'd been a shoemaker and a shoe
Uh-huh.
and a bootmaker.
Uh-huh.
So got some good
Oh, that's
history
so
to it.
great.
So this
Yeah.
is 1951. It's a curved needle L.
Landis
So
L.
I'll be
Yeah.
working on it. Yeah, I'll be working on it this week or next week to get it going. So
Very
this is kind of
cool.
like, see if I can get a better view. My main workbench here, and it's not quite
Nice.
finished, but I
Yeah, it's a start.
don't
You
know
just
about.
moved in 2 months ago, you said. So did you move during the pandemic?
Yeah, we did. We've been looking for a house for a while, and I don't know, just something about the timing worked out, and we kind of a little bit and found a spot. And it worked out. I've been at home, and my wife gets to work from home, and so I've had plenty of time to work
Nice.
on moving and painting and working on the shop and stuff like that.
Nice, nice.
Um,
It's a blessing in disguise in
yeah,
that way, right? Sometimes you don't have time to do
yeah,
that. So, yeah.
yeah. I feel like I've gotten like a 6 months worth of work done in a month.
Wow.
So it's so I'm kind of at a point now where I can stop just working on stuff and actually make a few things and work on some projects aside from just
Ooh.
building it.
Oh,
So
very cool. Yeah, show us. Keep on showing us. Sorry, I just
okay,
interrupted, but
so
that was your
no, no,
workbench.
no.
Are those the boots
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you've
So
made?
yeah, so okay, so these, let's see, this right here, these are the first pair that I made. This is for my wife, Allie. So these
Uh-huh.
are pigskin, and then the tops are kip, Islander kip, which is like a similar to a calf skin. Um,
Oh.
and I made those like, I don't know, maybe close to 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Uh-huh.
This is my everyday pair. So it's the same thing. It's a pigskin on the bottom, and then the tops are water buffalo.
Uh-huh.
So this is a Charlie Dunn number 10 stitch pattern that I
Uh-huh.
really liked, and it's got a little kangaroo Texas inlay there, and a
Uh-huh.
little middle finger on the back. And these are just like standard heel, leather sole, 1 3/4 heel, which is our standard. Same thing on this pair. These I just finished, and my wife's birthday was in March, and I finished them like 2 days before the city shut down. So she hasn't really gotten to wear them very much. But these are full kangaroo.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and let's see, a tall scroll stitch pattern. Other thing, I got a natural welt, brown finish. Typical, just like leather sole, that sort of thing. These are 14 inch, so they're a little taller, a little more formal. And then, but full kangaroo, flirt tone, which I really like, as opposed to like a standard one like those. And these, I think these are really cool. These are called.
What are they?
I did not make these, but so my grandparents lived in Alaska in the like the 40s, and they did some like medical stuff out there, and so these were their boots. These are my grandfather's, and these are my grandmother's here. And
it's beautiful.
So they bought them there, and this is like a native craft footwear, and the soles are actually made from seal. They're seal skin.
Wow.
Which I don't know if they still do it like that or what, but they're these date back to about the 40s, and I wish I had the rest of my stuff unpacked because I have plenty more boots to show, but I haven't quite gotten to that box yet. So that's
that's all right. That's all right. But those muclucs, you call it, it's very cool. I wonder what other material they use. Like, so that's seal skin on the bottom, and then
I think this is like caribou or something like that.
Wow.
And then this is just, there's a lot of felt.
Yeah. Wow. It's history right there. Do you put your foot in there sometimes? No, I don't know. Is it your size?
Big foot. No, I've got a big foot, and I'd be afraid that by doing that. There's a felt piece.
Right.
But
very cool.
Okay. So the Workbench, like, this is something really cool that Lee does, and I don't know if other makers do this as well, but this is a rubber, just one giant piece of rubber, and I've got another piece there on the floor. And we use this, so like if we're cutting and you want to be able to like, cut through material, it's nice because you pierce all the way through your material, but also still drag in the rubber a little bit, and it doesn't really damage the knife, and it makes a really good cutting surface. It's good for like rebound if you're hammering. This is a mat from a horse stall. Get it like a Tractor Supply store or something like that.
Wow.
Cut in half.
That's great.
Let's see what else. This I just got actually.
Yeah, I saw the photo.
Yeah. Been thinking
How's
about
the electrical? You have to connect the.
Yeah, it's good. It runs and it's ready to go now. I've got some things I'd like to change on it. I think it's an older machine, and so there's been some kind of workaround stuff like this. That's but it works, and I had the help of a couple people. Jim Brainerd and Emily Parker getting this thing here from California amidst all this stuff. So slowly getting it all outfitted and stuff. Which is great because then I can actually get some stuff done, get some work done from home. Especially if I can stitch soles and have this guy running, then along with my hand tools, then I'm pretty set up.
Yeah. Do you have upper making tools too? Do you have like a sewing machine?
I do. Hang on one second. We'll take a quick trip to the sewing room, and hopefully my wife's not in a meeting, but I don't think she is.
Oh no, if it's too much, it's okay.
She's got her headphones on. She doesn't even know I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of dark in here, but I use two machines. The 3115, which we use all of our top work. This is a Conso 206 RB5 that I just got, and I use that for like some tote bags and belts and upholstery and that sort of thing. So this is about the extent of the sewing room right now, but it'll be hopefully I'll be able to add a skiving machine and a few other things like that soon to really be able to knock some work out from home on the weekends and stuff when I'm not in the shop.
Oh, well, that's so cool. Did you work on anything during the pandemic other than, I mean, you're busy moving and setting up, but
Yeah.
do you feel like you have time now to work a little bit on your own stuff?
Yeah, I've done a little bit. I kind of caught up on some upholstery jobs that I had, do like a little bit of like motorcycle seat upholstery, and then I don't do a lot of like small stuff like belts or wallets and bags, but I ended up making a couple of bags just to use up some material that I had inadvertently bought actually for another project. So I've been doing that all week, knocking out a couple of dozen bags and stuff. But as soon as I get my sole stitcher up and running and fix a couple of things on the sander, then I've got at least a few repair projects to get started on at home. And then get back to footwear stuff.
Very cool.
Excited for that.
Yeah, that's really fun. I'll go back all the way. Let's go back all the way to how you started shoemaking and bootmaking. How long have you been doing for? Who's your mentor? Do you think you can just give us a little like rundown?
Yeah, sure, for sure. I have been doing it for, I don't know, coming up on 3 years, I think. And not all of that time was full time. I started off at Lee and Carlin's in like, sorry, I put my phone somewhere off to hold it. I started off at Lee and Carlin's in I think 2017, in like September or so of 2017. And I've always kind of been a boot nerd, and I grew up in Texas, and I always worn cowboy boots and stuff, and I like, I grew up sewing and kind of messing with leather, and so somewhere along the way there was this like intersection, and I wanted to learn this or whatever, and so I started messing with stuff from home, and kind of got to the point where I needed some supplies for a boot shop or shoe repair shop.
I'm like,
and I was going to call them and try and
I'm losing you for a second. Hold on. I think I'm losing you for a second. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm losing you for a second, but I don't know if it's me.
Let's see here.
Hold on. Is it me? Could be me. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But do you see the visuals aren't working, or is your side working? Oh no. Okay, you're back.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
I think you're back. Yeah. There we go.
So
so you were saying you're like, you grew up like in Texas, you were sewing, and then you're really into making like a boot. So sorry, a little couple seconds back. And so how did you find Lee?
Just an internet search. I got on and I was looking for just a shoe repair shop to buy some thread or some wax or something, and I found a shop, stopped by, and if anybody's ever been into the shop, they know Lee is like the ultimate tour guide of cowboy boots, and so he loves to give the tour and kind of tell you what's going on, how they make the boots. So he did that, and I left, and I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to walk into some crummy little spot, in the back alley somewhere, shoe repair shop, and it ended up being like, the quintessential cowboy boot shop. So I started going back every once in a while and, buying supplies or something and asking Lee a couple of questions, and eventually that kind of turned into, hey, I'd really like to learn some more, can I come in and, watch you or something? And it just kind of snowballed from there. And so I worked there part-time starting, I guess in September. And I did that, a couple afternoons a week after work for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half or something like that. And I started off a couple days, and then I'd work like 3 days a week in the afternoons, and then I went to like 3 full days, that kind of thing. And eventually, maybe about a year ago, went full time and so it just started from there. I mean, Lee took me in and taught me everything that he wanted me to do, and you know, kind of the ways of the shop, because every shop has a different method of doing something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went from there, and so I think I've been there close to 3 years, you know, all included. And yeah, it's great. I mean, like the environment there is really wonderful. Like Lee's incredible. Not only is he a great boot maker, but he's a really incredible teacher. Like he gives you a lot of room to learn, to grow, to try new things, which really is my favorite thing about him. I think is that, you know, he's made boots for 40 something years, and like even now, if you have a new method, even as like a newcomer, say, hey, I think we could try something different. He's open to taking that moment to think, okay, like, can I make a better boot by doing it this way? And if the answer is yes, then we're going to do it that way, you know? A mix of staying true to tradition, but also like making changes along the way in order to make the best, you know, the best product, the best boot that you can actually make.
Right. And I guess it also comes with experience. He knows where you can, you know, like do something different, or he knows everything. Yeah, in that sense. What part, like, what's the process that you like the best out of the boot making?
I do mostly bottoming and repair.
Bottoming?
I do a little bit of top work every once in a while, or help with that, and I've started to do more, but I started off doing repair there, and so I would just do, you know, whatever needed to be done, soles and heels, move on to like repairs. And I'm like a very, you know, I really enjoy art and design and stuff like that, but I'm also a very like mechanical, functional person, and so the bottoming, I really enjoy that part, because it's kind of like, in my mind, the unsung hero of the cowboy boot is like, you know, the attention that goes into
the bottom,
actually, you know, to putting soles and building heels and that sort of thing. And also I think it's an area where we as cowboy boot makers fall short in comparison to, like, you know, English shoemakers or people who are making bespoke shoes.
Why do you think so?
I just, you know, I think in a cowboy boot, you know, 90% of the appeal is, aside from the fit, is, you know, the tops or like the flash, you know, like the history of cowboy boots goes back to this big statement, you know, that the cowboys had on their feet, which is great. And I love that. But I think oftentimes we can neglect some of the things that aren't quite so in your face, like a, you know, a really elegant or something like that, crazy inlay. And so with, you know, I'm not saying that I want to be hand stitching soles, because I really don't want to do that. You know, you can spend a little bit more time on bottoming with a cowboy boot and make something look, you know, really refined and elegant in an area that doesn't typically get that attention from a lot of boot makers. Because that's not, it's truly for you. Like at that point, like the work that I do in that, a lot of the time it's for me or for Lee or for Charlotte or whatever. The customer may not even notice that I spent this much time doing this one spot on the heel or whatever, you know. So I think it's like a good opportunity.
When you sit back though and you cross your legs, like, you know, you see the sole. So I guess, so I think it's important, but that's cool that you like that part. Is that the first thing that you kind of got into at Lee's shop? Is like bottoming?
Yeah. I started just doing soles and heels. You know, when I first walked in, it was like, okay, shine this, or I don't know, skive this or something. And then it was doing soles and heels. And then eventually, you know, doing soles and heels on new boots. And then, okay, want help, we'll, like, I don't know, do arch covers or nails or bottom filler, or like shape an arch cover or whatever. And then it would, okay, why don't you welt this pair? Okay, why don't you toe box that pair? Okay, why don't you last this pair? Okay, why don't you set the vamps on? You know, and I've just like, I've worked backwards in that way, which I respond really well to, because you get to see how stuff works together. And so I've really enjoyed seeing, I don't know, the end result, like what I'm looking for while I'm doing earlier steps. So I really enjoy top work, and I really like, you know, doing top stitching and inlay and stuff like that. But aside from for myself or like helping, you know, Charlotte does a lot of that in the shop, and she's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Like helping her or Dana or Lee or whatever do.
Ah, sorry, hold on. I occasionally lose you. Sorry, hold on. I don't know if it's me. Um, can, yeah, no, sorry. I think I hear you now. Yes, I
Okay.
got you. I got you
Yeah.
back. Sorry.
No worries.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It might be here, but I had kind of made a move to do a lot more of the top work and stitching and stuff like that, or be, I've gotten to make full pairs for customers in the last couple of years, but
Nice.
kind of made a move to get to do more of that in the shop, and we've kind of like switched around roles so that we don't get, Charlotte and I don't get too jammed into one corner, but kind of right when that started happening is when COVID hit, and so it's I lost a bit of my momentum there, so I'm eager to
get back. Yeah. I love the teamwork that you guys have there, and everybody respects each other for their,
Oh yeah.
So what are your
absolutely.
what are your essential tools, hand tools that you love that you brought back home with you? Yeah.
All right. I actually went and picked them up the other day for this.
Oh, cool.
This is, I don't know, this, aside from one tool that I'm missing, I consider to be everything that I need. Okay, so I'll start over here. So for some reason, Lee had a couple of these hammers, these like fiberglass handled, French head hammers. And we all kind of just like fell in love with them and kind of got really lucky and each ended up with one. This one came from another woman who had worked at the shop a few years ago that sent it back to us. So really great all-purpose hammer. And actually, I got really lucky. I got really lucky the other day, and I found another one on eBay, which never happens.
Wow.
Anyway,
yeah. Wow.
My only hammer, the only one that I really need, just like a pair of like, good nippers or clippers or whatever. This isn't the pair I normally use. This came in that eBay lot. These two things, okay, heel pry.
Yeah.
Nail puller, this style. I don't really like the sawtooth style. I like this one. And these are both USMC brand tools, which another one of those things, like Lee had a set of these that he had, and we all just kind of like fell in love with them. And so I got really lucky and found these. So these are my like never going to get rid of them kind of things.
Yeah.
Rand file or welt file, whatever you want to call it, for doing for building like a really nice like flat rand around the heel. And I don't have my rand knife here, but that would also be an essential. Just like a nail set or something for doing heels. And then of course all my knives.
Oh, your knives.
This one is really great. This is a stainless lip knife from Terry Nipshield. Which is like they're a little hard to get sometimes, but if you can get one, they're excellent. You really never need to sharpen them aside from using them on maybe like a rouge wheel or something. Just like general purpose Tina, like 270, I think is this one. And I got this in a lot of stuff, and it's trimmed down. It's pretty short, but I like that one. My straight knife, which is honestly just kind of a shitty English Sheffield straight knife that I trimmed down. And I think I don't know, I think I have another one like a Barnsley or something, but I don't like that. This is the only one that I use, and Lee gives me a lot of crap for it because he likes a really nice long one. He likes these that are like a foot long, but I like these very short ones because they don't flex quite as much, and you can really get in places where maybe you couldn't otherwise. This guy, my skiving knife, I got from Dana when I first got to the shop. I think I traded or something. I don't know, but like the only skiving knife I feel like I will ever need. Curved Tina, easy to sharpen. Love it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
this guy right here, this is this is a pattern knife, a Tina pattern knife, and let's see if I can get the number there. Tina 1218, and I think these come from like Rocky Mountain leather. I personally, I think that I don't believe in reusable knives, and so I really love something like this with a nice sharp point. And this is like what we'll use for everything, cutting out patterns, tops, anything you can possibly think of. And it's got an adjustable blade and a pattern on it too. And then this guy, I feel very strongly about this. Okay, so JoJo is another woman that works at the shop, and her husband is a carpenter, a really incredible one, and he made me this little tiny strop. And people ask me a lot about sharpening knives, and the only thing that I use for anything in the shop is this. Maybe in a larger, like a longer one if I can't find this one, but this is like 8 inches, and I use 220 sandpaper on there. And if I've got like fresh 220 sandpaper, I can sharpen any. I don't sharpen that one, but any of these, quick on that, and Black Jeweler's Rouge on on some leather on the backside. And then the key is to go over to we have a grinder set up with like a cotton buffing wheel. So the key is 120 or 220, whatever, as fine as you really want to go, but I think 220 is all you need. And then rouge it on the bench grinder, and it is good to go. And usually, if you sharpen it right and you rouge it real quick, then it'll last. The edge will last for a long time.
Sweet.
So I think that's my like dummy's guide to knife sharpening, but I think that's really all you need to do in my opinion.
Did you ever get into making your own knives?
I'm the kind of person where I think about that kind of thing a lot. Like, man, I really love this knife or this hammer. I should learn to make one of these. And I guess that's how I ended up making boots. But trying to exercise some self-control these days with that thing. So I'm gonna let the knife makers make knives, and I'll stick to making the boots.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. And what shoes are you wearing now? What shoes do you wear your own shoes all the time? Oh,
I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm currently wearing my second favorite pair of shoes.
Flame Crocs.
My Flame Crocs.
They're super comfortable, right?
They are. They do shrink if you leave them out in the sun, unfortunately.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I generally wear my boots. I mean, I have worn them, pretty much every day for the last few years. Allie and I have traveled a lot with them. We went to Europe last year for a few weeks, and I don't know. I think we walked maybe 200 miles or something like that. We calculated it, and that was the only pair of shoes that I took was my cowboy boots. And at the end of every day, my feet felt great. Like I have no complaints. I also have no sympathy if people are complaining about their feet hurting in cowboy boots, because that just means they have, boots don't fit, which is where we guess. But anyway, I love them. I definitely feel like they're a part of me. I don't. So if it's not the cowboy boots, then it's the Crocs, sure.
And do you wear the boots to ride too? Is that your riding boots? Do you wear your boots to ride motorcycle? Yeah. It's nice. Definitely. It doesn't have laces or anything.
Yeah, they can be hard to get off if my feet swell a lot, which maybe could be dangerous, I guess, at some point. But I mean, they fit me so good and they're so comfortable that I try to keep it simple and just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of shoes aside from boots, and so the leather sole thing is kind of weird sometimes and can be a little slippery, but just try and be careful. Also, I'll flip this camera around. So this is the seat that's on my bike, which is the same material. So this is water buffalo and suede pigtail on the seat.
Did you fix that or did you make that?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I did. And I wanted them to match
your boots.
Yeah. I feel like my outfit is complete if I'm because my boots and my seat match.
You now need a leather jacket
Yeah, exactly. It's a little hot in Texas for that right now.
Right. Right. Oh man, how long does it take to, I mean, I think I've asked the girls too, but you guys work as a team. How many pairs do you work at a time? And how long does it take for like each pair?
Yeah, it just depends. I think we usually say that it takes about 40 hours to make a basic
Okay.
pair. It could go up to 60 or 80 for something
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's hard to tell. We usually have like 2 or 3 pairs maybe going at once, depending
Mm-hmm.
on how many of us are in the shop.
Right.
We've got how much repairs going on, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I sat down start to finish by myself, I could probably finish, I don't know, with my limited experience, that is, maybe, a pair in a week would be pretty reasonable if it wasn't crazy.
Right.
But, a lot of the stuff that we do is really heavy inlay. And
Yeah.
that stuff, aside from just the actual moment of making the boots,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of
Prep
planning.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of design and measurements and stuff like that. Not to mention building a last. Like if it's a new
Yeah.
customer, throw in a lot more time for the last, and so Lee will be
Right.
working on that while we're getting stuff ready.
Right.
But yeah, anywhere between, I don't know, 40 and 80 hours, I would say.
Wow.
Of a couple of us.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh, which boots out of the ones that you made that you have at home, which ones are your favorite?
The water buffalo and pig for, well, I don't know. I mean,
The
the
one
ones
that
that I
you
made for
wear?
Allie,
The one,
yeah. I mean,
uh-huh.
I love these a lot, and I feel like, I feel very good about the work that I did on those. I mean, I love these the
Uh-huh.
most just because they're mine, and
Yeah.
they're like a second skin, so to speak,
Yeah.
on me.
Right. Right.
These for my first pair, I don't really love these that much. They're just because I made them a long time ago, and you look back at stuff that you've done in the past, and you've
Yeah.
progressed a lot as
Yeah.
a crafts person, and I think, oh man, I hate to look at that because I can do so much better now. But
But
they're my
it's
first
good.
pair. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a good
it's a good reminder where you
reminder.
came from.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And she still wears it, right? Which
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
she does, for
yeah,
sure.
which is amazing. Yeah. And do you have a motto that you live by, like a mantra?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess take your time is that's what I've learned from Lee and being at the shop, which I guess I'll use that because I have learned being at the shop, learning from Lee, doing this kind of work that frankly people pay a lot of money for, and it takes a lot of
Yeah.
time, and it's
Yeah.
very emotional for both people. We spend
Yeah.
a lot of time and energy making them, and people
Yeah.
spend a lot of their hard-earned money to buy this
Yeah.
stuff, and so
Yeah.
I would like to really taking that extra time to do things, I don't know, not only good enough, but like to the best that we can possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know if I dreamed this up, but I have this memory of Lee, saying, I don't ever want something to be good enough. Like that's not acceptable. That's not really what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We do it to the absolute best that it can be done. And if we can't, if I personally can't do it that well, then I need to get better, or I need to give it to Lee or Charlotte or something like that, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And, we all in the shop have different strengths. And so I think
Yeah.
that's like maybe the biggest reason we work so well as a team, because each of us does something, to a degree that maybe the other person doesn't. So, the boots get passed around, and they each have all of our hands on them, and they end up being really incredible. Whereas, I definitely have a lot of things that I need to work on. Charlotte, maybe not Lee, but Charlotte and I are both learning, and she is an incredible sewer and top maker, great at lasting, and also, doing bottoming and all of that stuff. But she definitely has areas where she's stronger. There's areas that I'm stronger. And so we work really, really well as a team. And I don't want to think about not being able to make boots with Charlotte and Lee, because that's one of the best parts about being in that shop, is getting to spend time with Charlotte and Lee and Carlin, Dana and JoJo and everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. Yeah, no, that's great. So I guess I was gonna also ask like, oh, what's your something that you learned from Lee? I think you answered basically, but something you learned from Lee that you use in your everyday boot making, would be basically to take your time, do the best.
Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, there's nothing that I've learned about boot making that I didn't learn from Lee or Charlotte or Dana or Carlin. So, I could go on and on about stuff, but that is the biggest takeaway with him is that, he Lee's been doing it a long time, and there's a lot of boot makers who are very set in their ways and don't change.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really respect most about his philosophy as a maker is that, you should be willing to change if you can do something better than you were doing it before.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you think you would ever go and learn from somebody else as well? Kind of just to kind of see what other people do in different ways or?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, and we've talked about it a little bit, and it's just, I puff Lee up a lot because I love him, but I also think that he's in my opinion, the best living boot maker that's out there.
The best.
So it's hard because
of
course I Charlie, who started the shop and who Lee came to work for, he did that. He went all over the country and worked for different boot makers and learned different things. And even now, Lee has a network of friends and other makers that, he's been friends with for 40 years or whatever. And he'll call this coffee mug right here. This is, you can see that. This is Alan Bell, who is a boot maker in Abilene. And Alan Bell has been making boots, twice as long as I've been alive and then some. And so, if he has a question about, hey, how do you do this pass line, or how do you fit at this joint or whatever, he's pick up the phone and call Alan. So while I do still think that Lee, in my opinion, is the best out there, there's still a lot that I can learn from other makers. And so I do plan to do that at some point, go and spend some time, maybe, with Wes. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I plan to go see him. Michael Anthony is a boot maker in California that I'd really like to go and visit with. A whole bunch of people, Dina McGuffin, the list, Jim Brainerd, the list goes on. I don't want to leave anybody out. There's a lot of boot makers that I respect who, everybody does something a little bit differently. Yeah. And like I said, I think I've learned from Lee that you should be willing to, take the time to learn something different if it's going to make it better. So I definitely know that there's a lot of those little nuggets out there from other boot makers, and I would love to pick them up at some point.
Oh, definitely. And also different tools that people use. And Wes sends you a heart. It's cute.
Yeah.
So if you had all the resources available to you, what shoes, boots would you make and for who?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I mean, I think I would still make cowboy boots, and I would probably make two things, maybe three. I would make traditional cowboy boots. I would make a botina or like a Western Chelsea boot, which I really love, and we make those at the shop. I love that too.
Yeah, I've seen them. They're really cool.
Yeah, Dana made a pair recently, a full alligator pair that anybody should go and check out her Instagram and look at. They're truly phenomenal. So classic cowboy boot, the botina or the Chelsea boot, and then maybe something like an engineer boot or something like that. But that's I don't know. We'll see. Really, just the cowboy boot and the Chelsea boot are my main things. They're so classic.
Have you made those Chelsea boots for yourself yet? The botina?
No. My wife Allie is, I think, first in line for a pair of those from me. Yeah. She's got I think she's got her eye truly on a pair of white alligator, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if that's at least a pair in, kangaroo pair or something like that.
Do you like working with alligator?
Yeah, I do actually. It's a little nerve-wracking because it's so expensive, but if you screw the pooch on some pigskin or something, then it's that. As much as I hate to waste leather, it's not the biggest deal. But when you're working with, like a, 8 or 10 foot alligator skin or something like that, that is very expensive. And, even on those big skins, we're very, very choosy as to like where we cut stuff from on the skin.
Yeah.
Because every area of the alligator looks very, where the flipper is, or like belt cut or whatever, like head cut, it all looks different. And so it's not like you have this one giant piece of continuous leather. You have one leather with like 10 different, I don't know, 10 different grain patterns or whatever, scale patterns all over it. And so your margin of error has to be, you know, really, really small. That being said, I really like it. I think it's, you know, really attractive. I don't have any alligator stuff myself. And I think I would probably wear it. I'd like to make a pair of like black, you know, at least gator vamp boots for myself at some point.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I think it's fun to work with. You know, I think it lasts and crimps. That sort of thing, especially if you're like working in a good area, you know, like small scale, you know, square scale sort of stuff. I don't particularly care for, but smaller stuff.
Yeah. How often do you get to work on your own things? Like, you know, you work on boots all day, so it's kind of hard to work on your own projects, I feel like, at nights and evenings and weekends.
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, this is my solution. This is my solution to that problem.
So you can do it at home.
I mean, you know, before COVID and stuff like that, we would stay quite a bit. You know, we would stay, you know, it just depends. Early on, I might stay for, you know, a couple hours and have Lee help me with something. And then later on, you know, Charlotte and I would spend, I don't know, maybe a couple evenings a week and work late at the shop on our own stuff. And I think especially like, this isn't just a job for us. This is like a passion and something that we really love to do. And so I find that if I, you know, even if I work all day and I'm really, you know, I've spent a lot of time doing it on one said day, by the end of that day, I'm still like really excited about doing the work. And so it doesn't take much more to stay an extra 3 hours and like last a pair or something like that. And we'll work through lunch breaks and stuff like that. And really it's like, I think this pair that I just finished, this tan pair for Allie, took me a while to get started on. And then once I got a little bit of progress and I kind of had a deadline in mind, it was like any waking moment at home or at the shop at a lunch break, or like our 3 o'clock breaks in the afternoon, I'd be at the sewing machine, like knocking out the tops or something like that. So
wow.
You know, I feel like dedication. I love to do it. So
does Allie or your wife miss you sometimes? Be like, come on home, or does she come and join you guys? Do you live far from Lee's place?
Well, we used to live about a half mile, and I would walk to the shop pretty much every day for work. We just moved, and now I'm probably about 20 minutes away. Not too bad of a commute, but
do you motorcycle? Do you ride your bike?
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't really made the commute since the COVID stuff happened and was down. But like I said, I mean, I used to walk through my old neighborhood and pop out across Congress in about 20 minutes by foot, which I definitely miss, but it's nice to have some more space. But yeah, I definitely tend to get a little wrapped up in work sometimes, and especially with and spend a little too much time. So it's nice to, I don't know. It's going to be really nice to have a shop at home, especially she's working from home right now too. And so we both get to work and then, you know, take a little break, spend some time together and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Where do you want to be in like 3 to 5 to even 10 years?
Oh man. I don't know. I would say like maybe in 3 to 5 years, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't know. I definitely want to be doing some stuff on the side myself. But I think about this a lot. I've learned so much at Texas Traditions, but I feel like I have like an infinite amount of things still to learn, and I'm not going to be ready if I leave. And I'm not saying that I want to or ever will, but I wouldn't want to go until I feel like I could do work that would be like Lee and Carlin in the way that they've taught us to make boots. Right. And so there's a lot of stuff that I learned. And so they're not getting rid of me yet. I mean, I would like to be doing some of my own stuff on the side at home, which I will, you know, because it's a great way to practice and to get better. But I mean, eventually I would love to have my own place and, you know, my own name, my own shop and that sort of thing, and take it and kind of see what I can do with cowboy boots. But I definitely want to be still making boots in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, you're set to stay. You're like, I'm here to stay. That's cool. The journey just began almost. Yeah
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. I heard that, you know, Dana went to like a last making class, for example. So Lee's totally open for you to kind of take your time off to go and learn from, not time off, but like, what's the right word? He's pretty open for you to take courses, workshops and stuff.
Yeah, Dana and Charlotte, they went to Sweden and took a shoemaking shoemaking course with Yanni Melkerson. And so on the way over there, Dana stopped in London and took a course at Last Maker House. Guys, and so I haven't gotten to do anything like that yet, and I really want to. There's a lot of people, especially in the UK, that I really admire. And so I would really like to go over there and spend a little bit of time. And there's like 3 or 4 people there that I've followed for a long time and whose work I really admire, that I would love to go, you know, show up for a few hours a day for a week or something like that and see what I can or what I can offer.
Absolutely.
Last Maker House or something like that, I would love also.
Like skill exchange too, in a way. Yesterday I was talking with Thomas Rowe, and he was saying, I'm gonna try to make some cowboy boots, and he did it with his student one time, but he's like, I would like to learn. He wants to go to Texas, and I think he said that Felix is coming to Texas, and I was thinking maybe he's coming to visit you guys. I don't know who he's gonna visit.
He's supposed to come and stay with me, but you know, with all the coronavirus stuff, all those plans got canceled. We have this big barbecue. Dustin Law in Salado, which is just north of Austin. Dustin was the apprentice of a guy named Duck, who is just a tremendous bootmaker for a long time, friend of Lee's, and they have a barbecue in the spring every year, and it's big social gathering sort of thing, and so Dana had planned an event around that as well, and so Felix, Murphy Teal from New Mexico, Emily Parker from California, a whole bunch of people were Eric Norman as a shoemaker in Houston, around Houston and Beaumont, so we were supposed to have this big party, and Felix was coming, and unfortunately we didn't get to do that. So I'm hoping that in the future, when things calm down, we can get on that, kind of get our internet gang together and
So, does everybody ride?
Who's everybody?
Oh, I don't know. Like all the bootmakers, when you gather, do they kind of everybody motorcycles?
Al Franklin. Al Franklin's got a big old space that he rides in on sometimes, and then Charlotte and I both ride. Felix does in the UK for sure. Nicholas Templeman is also another that was supposed to be here around this time, who I think he rides a Ducati or some real nice fast bike like that. But, really looking forward to getting to ride with those guys at some point. But I don't know. I don't think there's anybody else on that list. The bootmaking crowd is kind of getting up there in years. So the younger folks are most of who are on the motorcycles, I guess.
Right. I don't know. I look on Instagram and find you guys, and then also I went to like shoemakers forum and like this HCC. I went to one time like a honorable Courtwayners, what's it called, club? HCC, and there were actually a lot of bootmakers, and there were a lot of girl bootmakers too, and I forgot, I have to get somehow their names, but they were from all over, and then there were some were young, and it's really. No,
you're right. I mean, I'm definitely exaggerating, and it's great that there are other young folks doing it too, because there's got to be somebody that, it can't just be like a handful of us to carry the torch.
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a million lifetimes of information for us to pick up on,
yeah,
along and that sort of thing. So,
yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I was asking, I think I might have talked with Dana and Charlotte both, but I was hoping that as like an outsider, I'm kind of hoping that somebody can help Lee with his somehow getting all his knowledge into a book.
well, you gotta, I mean, he's working on it. People have been bugging about that for a long time.
Is there any way we can help? I mean, I should ask him. You know, and the bookshelf. He has all this bookshelf of knowledge, like little books, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but like, I feel like he can translate it well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He interprets that stuff better than, you know, I can look at a book and, you know, read through it and understand what they're talking about kind of, but especially when it relates to like footwear stuff. But Lee, you know, with the experience that he has, he can interpret that stuff in a way that's really easy for us to use. So that it's not just like old information in a book, but it's applicable stuff that makes it better. So we have a handful of books like that we use. That, you know, a lot of those are out of print or hard to find, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
There's some PDF versions here and there, but hopefully Lee will be able to spend some time getting his book together, his own book together, in the future. Get to share that knowledge. With
I'm like tempted to find like maybe not a boot apprentice, but like a intern who's like really into history and like publishing to be like assisting you guys to, like, you know, because you probably talk about knowledge, like talk between yourselves, like, you know, learning new techniques. Like someone needs to record it.
Well, and Lee Carlin are that kind of people where like they remember stuff like the history of the shop or this company or that company or this bootmaker who worked, like this one bootmaker who worked for Lucchese back in the 30s or whatever. Like they're both really incredible at that kind of information, and I personally am not that great at that. But I'm also really bad at writing stuff down, and so I try to, you know, take this stuff in when they're talking about it, because, you know, you could sit down with Lee and Carlin and have them start telling you stories about, you know, bootmaking and bootmakers and the industry and people and leather and whatever, anything, and like they could go forever, you know, with
I bet
nothing but solid, great information the entire time.
It's just they've been living it for a long time.
And they're just, I don't know, they have a gift of remembering that sort of thing. Like they're great storytellers. So we benefit from that because Lee remembers all the information that is relatable to bootmaking, and he's like, well, you know, we used to do it like this, but now we made an 1/8 of an inch, and, you know, back in 1974, this guy did changed how he did it and whatever, and it's a bit overwhelming at times, and it's got to get written down at some point, but it's hard to be disciplined enough to record all that information and like work and make boots
and work at the exactly. But I feel like, okay, someone I'm gonna try to see if he's into that idea of like someone recording, like, you know.
That's true. Just sit down with a tape recorder and let him
go. Oh my goodness. So what I didn't ask is, I guess, what's your favorite material to work with?
Pigskin, I think.
Pigskin?
Pig is my favorite vamp, at least vamp material. I mean, it's like, you know, when it's tanned, it's reasonably water resistant. It's really tough. You know, you can't really scuff it up, and if it gets matted, you know, you can always, often you can fix that. This is a very forgiving leather. I also love kangaroo. You know, kangaroo are my top two. Kangaroos are really, you know, as far as cowboy boots go, you know, are really attractive leather, and it's strong, but it's thin. You know, so it's not too hot, but it's pretty. You know, it's reasonably durable. Maybe not for like a work boot, but for everyday stuff. And also, it's got a really attractive grain. I like a little bit of grain in a cowboy boot. I think it makes it look kind of tough, for like, you know, like a cowboy boot should. I don't like, you know, something that has the appearance of like a patent leather or really, really gloss or something like that, unless it's like a really dressy boot. So pig and pig and kangaroo for sure.
Very cool, very cool. And then where do you get your inspiration from? Like, do you get inspired by being in the environment and among your peers, or when you're creating your own, do you, for your wife or yourself, where do you get inspired from for design wise?
I mean, being in the shop, there's like an endless amount of inspiration, whether it's like old stitch patterns or boots up on the shelf. A lot of times when we're making boots, we'll go into the office, grab stuff off the shelf or the wall to look at, for inspiration for like right now, Lee's making a pair, and they're based on a vintage Lucchese pattern from the 40s. And so we have an original pair of these 1940s Lucchese's in the office.
Yeah.
We'll go over there.
Yeah.
Look at how they did the tongue and how they did the scallop, the little stitch on the tongue or whatever. So there, it's not that hard to be inspired, at least by stuff like that. Otherwise, books like all the Jennifer June and Tyler Beard cowboy boot books, all that whole group of them is like an amount of inspiration. I also I really love like high fashion stuff, not personally wearing the appearance of it, and so I'm really interested in how Western wear is kind of like coming into the forefront, or at least kind of has a moment now with stuff, especially a lot of the like suits based on like nudie suits and that sort of thing. So like vintage wear, anything that's kind of out there, kind of the like cosmic cowboy stuff, I think is really cool. But I love the classic stuff, but I also love something a little wild. I've got a pair that I'm planning for myself for a while. That's I guess kind of like a cosmic cowboy theme, and there's like some space cactuses, and there's like space cowboys and aliens fighting, and there's like a croissant spaceship that my dog is flying like I don't know. It's just like
really
that's
cool.
the thing about cowboy boots. You have this huge blank canvas that you get to choose if it sees or not, because your pants are usually covering them up. And so I think it's all over the place, but it is hard not being in the shop because I don't have to access all that stuff just sitting on the shelf staring at me.
Right. Wow, but I'm looking forward to your cosmic space boot soon.
I've started off, but haven't gone too far.
Oh, cool. Do you keep a little bit of leather at home too?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I have like some kangaroo, and I have a bunch of big, and Lee told me one time that like one of his big pieces of advice is not to be a leather warehouse. So like, I'm really careful, like not to buy stuff unless I'm using it immediately.
That's a really good advice.
It's not cheap, and also takes up room, and it's a liability if it gets hurt or something like that. So I try to keep stuff that I'm using, and then use it, and then replace it if I need to. So, good
idea.
Yeah.
No, thank you. There's only like 2 minutes left, but I feel like I miss seeing everybody's creations, in Lee's shop. But I know you guys can keep on making at home, and you have your projects going on, so I look forward to seeing them.
Well, maybe we can get another another live call going once we get back in the shop, and
that would be great. Sounds good. All right, do you feel like I asked all my questions. Is there anything I might have missed that you're like, oh, I want to tell everybody about this?
I don't think so. I found my
I think you're just
about sharpening knives on sandpaper, and I think I think you pretty much covered it.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
Okay, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
It was great. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you soon.
All right,
okay, bye.